Day 1, arrival in Istanbul. Stepping into Istanbul felt like stepping into a dream, draped in history. At gate number 8, my English-speaking driver greeted me warmly, his easy smile immediately easing my travel-worn nerves. The city buzzed outside the airport windows as we drove toward the hotel. After check-in, I had the afternoon free, and oh, how liberating it was! I wandered the nearby streets, breathing in the mingling scents of roasted chestnuts and strong Turkish coffee, my ears catching snippets of laughter and the melodic calls of street vendors. Summary of the day: the heartbeat of Istanbul drew me in instantly, vibrant, ancient, and alive. Day 2, Istanbul City Tour. The first stop, Hagia Sophia. The moment I stepped inside, the grandeur wrapped around me like a velvet cloak. Golden mosaics shimmered in the soft light filtering through centuries-old windows. I stood there, humbled by the weight of empires that had called this place their own. Topkapi Palace was next, and I wandered its exquisite courtyards, eyes wide at the treasures in the Sultan's treasury. The harem rooms whispered stories I could almost hear, and the pavilions offered tranquil spots with views that seemed to stretch forever. The blue mosque took my breath away. Its 6 minarets pierced the sky, but it was the delicate blue Iznik tiles inside that captivated me, their patterns dancing softly under the golden chandeliers. After a hearty lunch, I found myself in the hippodrome, where the echoes of chariot races lingered in the air. Finally, we meandered through the Grand Bazaar, a riot of colors, sounds, and scents. I found myself haggling over a silk scarf, laughing along with the jovial shopkeeper. Summary of the day: I touched history today. Its texture was silk, its voice a chorus, its scent a swirl of spices. Day 3, Bosphorus Day Tour. Our morning began at the Egyptian Bazaar, where the heady aroma of saffron, cinnamon, and sweet Turkish delight nearly overwhelmed me. I could have lingered for hours among the vibrant stalls. The Bosphorus cruise that followed was a revelation. Gliding between Europe and Asia, I watched palaces and fortresses pass by. The Dolmabahce Palace, the elegant Chiragan Palace, the sturdy Rumeli Fortress, each telling its own story against the glittering water. In Fener and Balat, I wandered cobblestone streets lined with pastel houses and cafes that seemed plucked from a storybook. I marveled at the cast-iron church of St. Stephen and paused at the Orthodox Patriarchate in quiet reflection. We ended the day at Pierre Loti Cafe, perched high above the Golden Horn, sipping Turkish tea while the sunset painted the water gold was pure magic. Summary of the day: cruising the Bosphorus felt like sailing through the pages of a living history book. Day 4, Cappadocia North Tour. An early flight whisked me to Cappadocia, a surreal land where nature and history entwine. The fairy chimneys of Devrent Valley felt otherworldly, their shapes teasing the imagination. In Pasabag, Monk's Valley, I wandered among towering stone columns as if nature had sculpted its own skyline. At Avanos, I watched artisans mold clay, their hands moving with a grace passed down through generations. In Gorem, The rock-hewn churches astounded me. Their frescoes, though worn, still whispered tales of ancient devotion. Our day ended with panoramic views from Uchisar Castle, the wind teasing my hair as I gazed out over Cappadocia's whimsical landscape. Summary of the day. I walked today in a land where stone dreams. Day 5, Cappadocia South Tour. The morning led me to the mysterious Kaymakli underground city. As I squeezed through the narrow tunnels, I marveled at the resilience of those who once lived hidden beneath the earth. In the Rose Valley, the soft pink hues of the rock formations glowed in the morning light, and the quiet was only broken by the crunch of my footsteps. The ancient village of Kavusin was a labyrinth of abandoned stone homes, silent yet profoundly stirring. I paused at Pigeon Valley, watching the flutter of wings against the white dotted cliffs. The day ended at the panoramic viewpoint of Esentepe, where I breathed in the last golden rays over Goreme. Summary of the day. Beneath the earth and among the rocks, Cappadocia revealed its secrets. Day 6. Flight to Kusadasi. After breakfast, I journeyed from Cappadocia to Kusadasi. The flight felt like a gentle intermission after days of intense discovery. Arriving at my hotel by the sea, I spent the evening strolling along the waterfront, savoring the salty breeze and the sound of gentle waves. Summary of the day. A day of transition, where sky met sea and I found calm. Day 7. Pamukkale and Hierapolis. Pamukkale's white terraces glistened under the sun, their surreal beauty almost too perfect to believe. I carefully stepped barefoot across the travertines, warm spring water trickling around my toes, a sensation I will never forget. Hierapolis unfolded in sun-drenched ruins. I stood amid the ancient theater, imagining the roar of the crowd, then wandered the Roman baths and the remains of the basilica, feeling history in the stone beneath my fingertips. Dinner back in Kusadasi tasted even richer after such a wondrous day. Summary of the day. Walking barefoot across cotton castles, pure blissful wonder. Day 8. Ephesus and return to Istanbul. Ephesus was everything I dreamed of. The grand library of Celsus stunned me, its columns soaring into the sky. I lingered in the theater, imagining the performances of a bygone era. The Virgin Mary's house was hushed and reverent, while the Basilica of St. John's weathered stones spoke of faith and time. A day ended with an unexpected twist, a lively leather fashion show where I laughed and admired the artisanship before flying back to Istanbul. Summary of the day. Among ancient stones and vibrant threads, history danced before me. Day 9. Flight to Athens. A smooth flight carried me from Istanbul to Athens. As I arrived, the rhythm of a new city welcomed me. The rest of the day unfolded quietly, with me savoring a leisurely walk and my first taste of Greek souvlaki under the soft Athenian light. Summary of the day. A gentle arrival, a quiet hello from Athens. Day 10. Athens City Tour. Athens greeted me with grandeur. The Parliament, the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier, and the neoclassical trio, the University, the Library, and the National Academy, all stood as sentinels of history. The Temple of Zeus and Hadrian's Gate rose majestically against the sky. The Panathenaic Stadium gleamed, its marble seats echoing Olympic pride, but nothing compared to the Acropolis. Standing before the Parthenon, I was overwhelmed by its timeless beauty. The Acropolis Museum deepened my awe with treasures that seemed to glow with the breath of the ancients. I spent the afternoon in Plaka, wandering its charming lanes and sipping Greek coffee in a hidden cafe. Summary of the day. The cradle of civilization whispered its eternal stories to me today. Day 11, Athens to Mykonos. The ferry ride to Mykonos was pure bliss. The salty breeze in my hair, the sun on my skin, and the sparkling Aegean. What more could I ask for? Once on the island, I let myself slip into the slow Mykonian rhythm, losing track of time among whitewashed streets and the soft lull of the sea. Summary of the day. I exhaled today and simply let the island hold me. Day 12. Free day in Mykonos. Mykonos gave me the freedom to wander without a plan. I spent the morning basking by the water, then roamed the maze-like streets where bursts of bougainvillea colored the white walls. I savored baklava in a quiet bakery, watched fishermen untangle their nets, and let the day drift lazily by. Summary of the day, a day of slow beauty, sweet pastries, and sunlit wanderings. Day 13, ferry to Santorini. The ferry to Santorini felt like a passage into a postcard. Arriving on the island, I was immediately captivated by its cliffside villages. The rest of the day, I let myself settle into the view. White homes with blue domes cascading down the caldera. The sky painted in soft pastels as the sun dipped into the sea. Summary of the day, the first glimpse of Santorini. It's not a dream, it's real. Day 14, free day in Santorini. I spent the day in Santorini simply soaking it all in. I wandered Oya's winding alleys, paused to admire every cerulean dome, and lost myself in the beauty of every balcony draped in flowers. The Aegean shimmered endlessly below me. At sunset, I found a quiet spot, sipping crisp local wine as the sky erupted in colors I'll forever hold in my heart. Summary of the day. Santorini painted the sunset just for me. Day 15. Farewell. It was time to leave, but part of me remained tucked between the stones of Ephesus, the waves of the Aegean, and the rooftops of Santorini. My heart felt full, and my mind buzzed with stories to tell.